It's the grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light, Little Flock. A brother was kind enough and thoughtful enough to share with me a dream that he had last night. And when Abba gave me the interpretation of the dream, I thought it necessary to share it with the little flock because I know that we can all benefit from it since it was about all of us. In this dream, the brother said he was falling down a chimney in a spiral pattern. Down this chimney he went until he went to the bottom. He ended up in a house that was dilapidated, destroyed, mildewed. You know what you would expect an abandoned, neglected house to look like. And as he looked around this room, he could see pigeons laying everywhere, all mangled up, some of them dead, some of them still twitching, dying. And he could see that not all of the birds looked the same. Some of them looked like regular pigeons. And then there were other birds that were black and brown, but they looked similar. But they were all in the same case. And as he went through this house looking for the exit so that he could get out of the house, in his spirit, he said he could feel that there were people who were calling people to that house to come into it. And he was thinking to himself, why would anybody want to go to such a disgusting place? Why would anybody want to come in there? And as he left the house, he woke up from the dream. I want you to consider for a moment. You're called the little flock. So that means that a group of sheep would be called a flock, correct? What is a group of birds called? So then we can use a bird in synonymous terms with a sheep. But not just any bird, but the bird that Abba called, his dove. Now we're going to get into some scriptures. We can break down what these things mean that he saw in his dream. But I want you to focus for a moment on this term flock. So consider this. Behold, I send you forth as doves among bird catchers. So be cunning as a fox and harmless as a lamb. Because you indeed are doves sent out among bird catchers. You see that there, little flock? Going down this chimney, what comes out the top of a chimney? That would be smoke. That's what you see at the top of a chimney. That's the purpose of the chimney, to carry the smoke out. Well, the smoke comes from a fire, which is at the bottom of that chimney. So then, if a bird happens to fall, which we know in nature this happens, if a bird happens to fall down the chimney, then he's falling into a perilous situation. Well, what did the scripture say came out of the bottomless pit when it opened? Did it say a smoke arose out of there? Yeah. You see? And it's bottomless. It just takes and takes and takes and takes. Well, it takes souls. It takes lives. You see? Thus, the doves laying everywhere, dead inside of that house. You see? The chimney would be a snare unto that turtle dove or that pigeon. But as we know, birds have the tendency sometimes to fall down into the chimney and end up in the house. And depending on whose house he fell into, may determine whether he'll live or die. Because if he fell into the house of a bird catcher, you see that there, little flock? So if a bird is sent out among bird catchers, how must he be? Well, we just told you. In order to not be caught, he has to be cunning. He has to be wise, you see, so that he can outsmart the fowler while being harmless. You see that there? You see that there, little flock? So let's get into some scriptures here. First, we'll start at the book of Psalm 124. Start at verse 7. Psalm 124, verse 7. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken and we are escaped. You see that there, little flock? You see what I was saying to you? Is it any different than what I was saying to you? You are a bird that escaped from a fowler who had you trapped. That's where salvation comes in. See? The one who sets you free from the trap. All we like sheep have gone astray. All we like birds have fallen down a chimney. In other words, have been caught in a snare that we could not free ourselves from. Instead, we needed salvation from. See that there, little flock? Somebody didn't know who I was talking about when I said little flock. They would either think I was talking about sheep or birds. And both are fitting in this case, you see? Let's jump to the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 36. Y'all better be quick with the scriptures because I'm going to be reading y'all. As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. What does a fowler do when he catches that pheasant or that turkey or that quail or that duck? You know what's going to come next. You're about to be sitting up there for Thanksgiving. You see that there? So like sheep led to the slaughter. You see what I mean? That was that house he was in with all those turtle doves and all of those pigeons laying around. You see? Because we're going to get into what they represent. Now, if you're enlightened, you already know what they represent. You see that there? Because we've already been kind of getting into it some. You see? Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. I said you got to be quick because we're going to be going through quite a bit real quick. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. See that there? So you're starting to understand that the environment that you're in, if you are a dove or if you are a lamb or a sheep, you are sent into a very perilous situation, into a very dangerous situation. And that's why you're told to fear not, to be not afraid, don't worry, don't stress, be of good cheer. Those are the type of beings that need to be told that. See, harmless ones need to be told that because they're in a harmful environment. A sheep is in a harmful environment if he's in the midst of wolves, especially if he's in the midst of wolves who are cunning. In other words, who disguise themselves as sheep. That's even more dangerous. See that there? It's always about some bait to lure you in. That's what the fowler does. See that there? Continuing. Leviticus chapter 1. We'll start at verse 14 and we'll go to 17. That's the pages turning. All right. And if the burnt sacrifice for his offering to the Lord be of fowls, birds, see, then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves, see that there, or of young pigeons. You see that there? Now, why those particular birds? Because of what they represent. Harmless as doves. So harmless, what does it mean? Innocent, humility, meekness. See there? That's what they represent. Turtle doves and pigeons represent that. So sometimes, like I said, if you look somewhere like a chimney or a billboard with lights that are hot, something that produces heat that's up high, like a chimney stack or something like that, a smokestack, you'll see pigeons sitting around there. You'll see mourning doves, we call them today, turtle doves sitting up there. Won't you? Why? Because they want to get warm. So you don't think that it's ever possible that one might doze off and fall down in there? That's what the dream was about. That's how you got here on earth. If you understand what I was trying to say here to the little flock. That's why all them pigeons and turtle doves was laying everywhere. Just like they was laying everywhere inside the temple, which we about to read right here in Leviticus. Why were turtle doves and pigeons getting cut and sliced and heads, necks broken and thrown all around the temple? Why? Because they represent humility being thrown around the world and stumped down and sliced up and cut up in pieces and neck broke. They shall kill some of you. Some of you they shall throw into prison. They shall mock you and scourge you. You are like lambs led to the slaughter. I mean, you guys get it, don't you? You guys see what's going on, don't you? I know what's up. Wow, I didn't expect that. Boy, that thing was sweet. All right. Turtle doves or young pigeons, back in Leviticus here, verse 15 of the first chapter. And the priest shall bring it unto the altar and wring off his head. See, twist it off and burn it on the altar. And the blood thereof shall be wrung out at the side of the altar. And he shall pluck away his crop with his feathers and cast it beside the altar on the east part by the place of ashes. And he shall cleave it with the wings thereof, but shall not divide it asunder. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar, upon the wood that is upon the fire. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire. You see that there? So do you get the point? That is a burnt sacrifice unto God when a saint lives humbly. So that causes him to suffer sometimes, to take the blow. So that the taking the blow is the getting his neck wrung, snapped. That's what it represents. That's why he will have mercy and not sacrifice. Don't you guys see it? But he was in that house in the dream full of birds that had their necks wrung, sliced open, which means people are not given mercy on the earth. That's why they're among wolves who seek to kill them. Wolf ain't going to show sheep no mercy. Being led to the slaughter is no mercy. You hear that? Because most people, when they're led to the slaughter, they cry out and they beg and they don't receive any mercy. Yahusha didn't. That's why it said that. As a sheep before the shearers is silent, he opened not his mouth when they led him up to Calvary. You see that there? Now we're going to jump to Hosea, chapter 7, start at verse 11. Hosea chapter 7, start at verse 11. I'll give you guys a moment. All right. Ephraim also is like a silly dove. See that there, little flocker? So silly means he's not wise, he's not cunning. See there? But he is a dove. Without heart, without courage, not brave. You have to be brave to be cunning. To think about a move you need to make, you need to be calm so that you can think. But Ephraim is like a silly dove with no heart, no courage. You see that there? So the flock goes both ways. That's the point I'm making by reading this. They called to Egypt. Help me, Egypt. Help me. You got all the money. You got all the 3D blessings. Help me. Makes sense? They go to Assyria. Help me, help me. Do you see why the Samaritan woman, it was told her that she had 5 husbands? That's who she's calling to help to. Egypt, Assyria. Those are the other husbands that at the end, when judgment hit, won't be able to save you. So if you run to Egypt and Assyria, you're a silly damn dove because you don't have no courage in your God. Isn't it obvious? That's why you're running to Egypt and Assyria. See that there, little flock? When they shall go, so when they go to Egypt and Assyria looking for help, I will spread my net upon them. See? Net. To catch you, to catch that bird that's trying to fly away. I'll put a net there. And I will bring them down as the fowls of heaven. I'll catch them and snatch them right back down. See that there, little flock? You see that? I will chastise them. Ooh, as their congregation hath heard. Woe unto them, exclamation point, for they have fled from me. So if you run to the world for help, then you're running away from God. See that there, little flock? You're running away from God. See how they were trying to invite people into the house? Come on in here. It's a great place to be. Egypt and Assyria. They want to make a prey of you. Let's see. Did they make you slaves when you went to Egypt? Yeah. Did they make you slaves when you went to Assyria? Yeah. Did they make you slaves when you went to Babylon? Yeah. Did they make you slaves when you went to Persia? Yeah. Did they make you slaves when you went to Rome? Yeah. Did they make you slaves when they were Greece? Yeah. Did they make you slaves when you were in America? Yeah. So don't you get the damn point here now? That's a new song. So don't you get the damn point here now? You're running to the wrong damn direction because you're a silly dove that's afraid when he told you don't be. Isn't that what he said? Instead of being scared when trouble hit, get cunning. Get wise. You can only be cunning if you're calm. You see that there, little flock? Remember when Rebecca said, put this goat hair. Okay, Dad said he wants some venison. All right, give me the goat that I'm going to get the skin from. Give me that. I'll make the meat out of that. I'm going to deceive this guy. I'm going to use cunning. But what if a curse comes? That's Jacob. What if a curse comes? Let it fall on me. Because I know what I'm doing. Because I know what God said. The elder shall serve the younger. See that there, little flock? She used cunning, didn't she? All right, then. He says, they have fled from me, destruction unto them. See, because they have transgressed against me. Though I redeemed them, yet they have spoken lies against me, saying that God don't love us, God didn't save us, we're not free, we're not protected. If he says you were fearful, then that means that you're speaking against God's protection. That means that God doesn't love you. That means that God can't protect you. It's the only reason you're scared. It's the same thing that frustrates the father with his son. When his father says, come on, son, I'll keep you safe. And the child just won't move. It becomes frustrating to the father, doesn't it? So then how come it's not frustrating to Abba when you do it to him? When he says, come on, and you go, no, I'm scared. I'm going back over there with those people over there called Egyptians. They put you in slavery. Why you want to run back to them? Because at least I ate some food and drank some wine. See? Now let's see if that's what it's about. They spoke lies against me, verse 14, and they have not cried unto me with their heart. When they howled upon their beds, they assembled themselves for corn and wine, and they rebelled against me. They assembled themselves to fly away for what? Some corn. Ain't that what you throw a damn bird? For some corn and some wine, they assembled themselves to fly away, and they rebelled against Abba. That's what it says. So when they rebelled and flew into that house, what happened? They got cut up, sliced up, killed up. And you read the Bible and you say that that woman sitting there with that cup in her hand, what is she drinking? Yeah, the woman sitting there on the many waters and everything, thinking that she's a queen and she won't be childless and not be a widow. You hear that there? Her. That cup she got in her hand. What's inside of it? Interesting, huh? It's a particular kind of wine she's drinking. And she's drunk on it, isn't she? So you see how that house was looking? Bring me more saints, because I need to keep my cup full so I can keep on drinking. so I can keep on drinking. Abba says, drink your cup to the full. Fill up your cup. Yahusha said as well. You see, what's their cup filled with? The precious blood of the saints. That's what the scriptures attest to in Revelation, don't it? It make it clear. That's why it's called Revelation. It's telling you what it really is. That's why when John was seeing it, the angel was like, don't worry, I'll explain it all to you. You ain't got to worry about it. I'll make it clear so that you understand. You see that there, little flock? So it is with this dream, that you come down the chimney, you fall down in there, and you fall down into the world, the bottomless pit, the world. The bottomless pit means it is never filled. So is your eye ever filled with seeing? Wow. Is your ear filled with hearing? Wow. Wow. You see, it's the world of desire that never ends. The world of red. It's the red district. I don't care what country you're in. I don't care what part of the earth and world you're in. You're in Esau's world. Esau means red. See how I'm doing this? That's his name, Edom. Red. Red means lust. Unfillable desire. You cannot fill it. Eyes, ears, nose, mouth, this flesh body. You cannot fulfill it. It will always want more and more and more and more and more and more. I don't care how full you get after you've done it once. A minute or two goes by and you want to do it again. So that's called the bottomless pit. That was that dove that fell down in that body. What does the dove represent? The spirit. So the spirit been getting his neck broke, been getting cut up in pieces, been being stumped out, hidden, stashed away so no one can see it, concealed. You see that there? That's the turtle doves and the pigeons he saw twitching and laying everywhere all dead and everything. And they were trying to get more birds to come in there. Come on in, birds. Come on in here. It's a wonderful place to go. Yeah, like that pigeon thought sitting up there on that chimney was a wonderful place to sit because it felt warm, because that smoke was coming out of there. Little did he know the smoke was coming from something. But you sat up there anyway, you got sleepy and dozed off and fell. And then you fell down into the pit. Now watch how the scripture is going to confirm this. Paul was preaching one day, and he was preaching for so long that there was a man sitting in a windowsill listening. See? If the man was listening, then he's part of the flock, which means he's one of those doves sitting on the chimney. And when he fell out the windowsill, he fell to the ground and they thought him dead. They said, this guy's dead. And Paul went down there and touched him and revived him, and the man came back up again. What does that represent? That's you falling down in there and getting caught in the snare, like Psalm said, but you were set free. So you were released from death by the preacher. Ski. That's right. That's right. You see that there? So in order to not be looking dead like those guys were, you got to be cunning. You got to be cunning. When you get caught, don't panic. Give your life up for the truth's sake. How did he tell me to get free? In his name. I am free. Now the bird next to you is trapped. He's kicking, he's flapping his wings. He's already broken a wing, flapping, trying to get loose. You're just hanging there silently. Your rope isn't even swinging. Yeah, your ankle is caught, just like his is, but you're not panicking because you're a free bird. I'm free. And while you're hanging there, there's other guys panicking saying, but I'm trapped. Let me free, man. Let me free. Then here comes the shepherd to come and unwrap the thing off his ankle. Okay, go free. You believed on the name and you sought it by faith. You didn't seek it by works. You weren't taking your beak, biting at the rope. You weren't trying to fly yourself away under your own strength and broke your wing. Oh, can you hear it today? Can you hear the wisdom flowing? You didn't try to get loose under your own power. That's not salvation, is it? If you can do it on your own, then what's the need for salvation? See that there? So we all, like birds, have fallen into a trap. But the good shepherd came and set us free. Now we need to use wisdom so that we don't get caught in no more snares again. That means we don't judge outward appearance. Yep, it's a smokestack. It look warm up there, but it ain't a safe place to sit. You might get drowsy, and fall in. So let me sit somewhere else where it's safe to sit and it's warm. See that there? Let me not judge on outward appearance anymore. Hey, look at those sheep. They got wool like I got. They must be my brothers. What the hell? Yeah, you judged on outward appearance. Those are wolves, buddy. See what I mean? So now it's time to be cunning, because cunning things are hard to trap. That's why I said be cunning as a fox. Foxes are well known for being hard to trap because they're sly. That's how Abba wants you to be, so that you don't get trapped out here. You know it's fake. If it looked good, it's fake. It's a ring wrapped around there, but I ain't paying attention to the ring because I'm looking at the piece of cheese there, or the corn, or the wine bottle sitting there. So every time I grab the wine bottle, I get trapped, but I keep grabbing it. How about I stop? Yahusha said, cut your hand off it if it offend you. There's a thing that goes on in the world. Let me just explain it to you. There are men in the world from a tribe that live in a very desolate wilderness type environment. There's not much out there. But they're hunter-gatherers, so everything they eat, they hunt that day and they gather that day. One of those things they have to gather is water, you see? And it's scarce in this environment. So they've learned this trick to do using sly cunning, you see? What they do is they cut a hole. You see this tree? This is the true vine of the tree, or the trunk. They cut a hole in there and bore it out and make it hollow on the inside. And then they put some fruit in there, some berries and nuts and things that monkeys like. There's a certain type of monkey that lives up in those trees that's going to come down and investigate because of what his nose has told him. So they stuff it full of goodies. Well, when that monkey comes down there to get him some of that fruit, he grabs a fist of it that's inside of that tree. He grabs a fist of it. Now, the hole is only large enough for him to slide his hand in. It's not large enough for him to pull it out balled up. He has to open his hand and make it skinny to pull it out. See? But he wants the goodies, so he will not let them go. So he just screams, holding the goodies. See how the wise one snared him? Now, what would a cunning monkey do in that situation? He'd look and he'd say, those guys are just trying to trap me. Look how small the hole is. They made it big enough for me to get my hand in, but not big enough for me to get my hand out with the goodies. So I'll never get the goodies. I'm wasting my time. No need in going down there looking at that. But a silly monkey went down there and grabbed it and won't let go. He wants it too bad. See, desire. He's going to eat that fruit and get hungry again. So why are you going through all of this? You ain't eating anything. You're just sitting there getting dehydrated. That's the key. So the humans just wait for this monkey to get completely dehydrated, fighting and fighting and fighting and flipping and jumping because he's terrified, but he wants to get the fruit. So once he's good and dehydrated, they cut him loose. They cut the hole bigger and he gets his hand out. So he goes a running because he's thirsty as hell. Where is he going? Right to the water. And then the tribe just follows him until they get the water. It was all about getting water. But it took some cunning and some wisdom and some sly. You see that there, little flock? Same goes for you. That's why he told you to be that way. And that's why he used something like a serpent. Be wise as a serpent. You have to know the characteristics of a serpent. A serpent be right there, and you won't know he's there. Because he's very sly. He's very cunning. He's quiet. He's patient. Not rushing in. You don't ever see a snake go rushing into something. He waits and he's hiding and he strikes unexpectedly. See that there, little flock? See that there? So that's the warning from the dream that Abba was giving all of the little flock. That though many will perish, because the scripture says a lot of saints will. Some of you shall be scourged. Some of you shall be killed. Some of you, so along the path of passing through that house. Many saints have died. Many turtle doves have been neck broken, splayed, head ringed off. And it was because of some sin and that sweet savor of that humble servant taking it. Like Stephen was one of those turtle doves. You see what I'm saying to you, little flock? The apostles of Christ were those turtle doves. Behold, I send you as sheep. They were Christ, guys. The doves, the harmless ones, the sheep, the lambs. A lamb and a dove is synonymous. Okay, they call Yahushua the lamb. What came and lighted upon him when he came out that water? A dove. You see what I'm trying to say there, little flockery? You see what I'm saying, little flockulators? It ain't hard. Matter of fact, it's real easy if you ask me. So my man went out the exit. And when you're free, I advise you to do the same. Because going through the exit of the house would be saying what? Come out of her, my people, and be not partaker. Because that house is going to be burnt with fervent heat. Because it's dilapidated. It's old as hell, mildew. Don't nobody want to be in there. Don't nobody should want to be in there. Because it's corrupt. So he's going to burn it with fervent heat. It's going to pass away and everything in it, including the elements. Because it's all corrupt. Do you see it today, little flock, or do you not see it? So come out that house when you're set free. Don't go back in it. Don't try to go back in there trying to be hanging around, taking a chance and all. No, don't sit on the edge of the chimney trying to take a chance to get warm. No, there's other places it's better to go. It's called green pastures. It's called still waters. Because you're also a sheep. So let him lead you to where you need to be. See that there, little flock? And you'll be exactly where you need to be, which is outside of that house. And the only reason Abba would send you back in that house is to sing the song of freedom. Or as he calls it in the book, spread the good news. Like I told you in the other video when I said the good news is that you're free. Hello. How you doing? All right. That's the good news, is that you're free. That's why the bird is flying around, see? Flying, singing, like the brother was in the dream. He went straight to the exit. I'm out of here. I've been set free. I'm gone. Pew! Why does anybody else want to go in there? Well, how did you get in there? Because you were caught up in bottomless desire, brother, and me, and anyone else. That's the forbidden fruit. See that there? They use an apple, and the reason why is because the apple's red. Skeet-dee-lee, can you understand me? Can y'all understand me today? It's red. Shit. Snow White learned that lesson, didn't she? Mm-hmm. Grabbing on red, and you took a bite, and what happened? All right, then. So it's just a symbol that represents bottomless desire. Give me a chance. Well, once you take the chance, then you will never stop wanting the chance. It'll be an endless loop. And the only way you'll get free is the Savior has to come save you by grace. Not because of anything you do. When you're hanging there in the rope, there's nothing you can do as a bird to get free. Someone has to come cut you loose. That's Yahushua. And what causes him to come to you? A broken heart. Yep, it's my fault. Why would I blame the other bird? Because he said, let's go down there, man. I went with him. I went because I wanted to experience the desire. I had a desire for something. So I bit the apple too. So it's my fault. That's a broken heart for your own actions. Because that's the only reason you're caught. You're not caught because of anybody else. You see? So that's how this world looks to God, like that house looked in that dream. See that there? Just like that house looked. That's how this world looks. That's why he said, the blood of the righteous will be required. From the righteous blood of Abel to the righteous blood of Zachariah. See how it's about righteous blood being slain? That's what those turtle doves, like I described to you. You see what I mean? That were a sweet savor to Abba. And you read about that man Stephen, whose face was as an angel. He looked steadfastly up to heaven as they stoned him. You see? One of those turtle doves, like I said. So come out of her today, my people, like you said, and stay out. All you need to do is fly around singing the song of freedom, redemption song. Have no fear. You see? Come out of that mental slavery. That's the rope they got on you. It's on your mind. That's the snare. You see? Just like you're not actually a bird, the snare is not actually a rope. It's the bondage on your mind. See that there? Mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. You got to do it yourself. You got to confess. I'm only stuck because of my own damn lust. My own red got me here. So let me put red back in its place, which is the bottom. See? Bottom. And let me put Christ back in his place, which is the throne. See that today, little flock? So hopefully y'all understand this message and y'all are blessed. Because I know I was blessed by the dream of the brother. So hopefully you are as well. Silwan Misraela.